Because obviously, Kylian Mbappe is a man that we know is going to stay up top. And we addressed this yesterday, of course, in this new documentary that is out about Luis Enrique, following him during his time as coach of PSG. And he's talking to Mbappe, and he's talking about the fact and relating him to Michael Jordan. This is what he had to say. Within that documentary, in a team talk, we saw, of course, saying, "I read that you liked Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan defended like a son of a... You're a phenomenon, without a doubt, but that doesn't matter to me. A true leader is when you can't help more with goals. You help us in everything defensively. The day that you don't attack, you have to be the best player in history defending. That is a leader. That is Michael Jordan." That's strong stuff, Adrian. I imagine that is something that's been picked up because, look, you do have luxury players. You've always had luxury players that have played for Real Madrid. You can go back to Cristiano Ronaldo. You can turn it back even further. You can look at last season, of course, with Vinicius Jr., who wouldn't be tracking back as much. But they've highlighted, haven't they, and I've seen the stats that's been doing the rounds in Spain, that when it comes to lack of defending, Kylian Mbappe is pretty much top of the charts.
Yeah, and Carlo Ancelotti, just a few weeks ago, urged not just Mbappe, but his entire front line to do some more defending from the front. It was funny, actually, in the aftermath of those Luis Enrique video clips becoming public, Carlo Ancelotti said, "Listen, I'm not going to pass judgment on another coach." But then he said, "But I will. Defending is always a collective and not an individual effort." Trying to dig out sort of Mbappe, but it's clear that and he mentioned it again yesterday. He didn't mention Mbappe, but he mentioned defensive intensity not being there. That's one of the things he's the most worried about. But I don't think he's prepared to dig out Mbappe entirely in that respect. In fact, there's a lot of feeling in Madrid that Mbappe has actually settled in really well and gelled perfectly with the group. So there's some counter narratives going on. But it was interesting, the timing of this Luis Enrique stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting as Frank Leboeuf joins us. It's something we've spoken about Kylian Mbappe before, particularly when he played for the French national team. His lack of wanting to come back and help his team out. Is this a big deal? Or is it, look, it's Kylian Mbappe. He is a striker. He's going to get you goals. You shouldn't be expecting him to track back with the rest.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. I mean, the important thing in football is to score goals, and it's why we put those players in the highest level. But football is a collective sport, and we want everybody to be involved in all matters. So also defensively. So when you are Ronaldo and Messi, and you can make a difference and score so many goals that some players will be okay with you not defending and not being too much involved. And sometimes you have coaches say, "No, I don't want you to defend because you're so good offensively that we don't need that." The problem with Mbappe is we thought he reached that level, but he's still not there. And I'm very sorry, he's still not there. So it's going to be not understood by the others that he doesn't make the defensive effort. If he scores 3 goals every game that he plays, makes a difference every time he has the ball, the other player, the press, the fans will accept the fact that he doesn't defend, like Messi, like Ronaldo. But right now, he's not there. So we can't say the same to him that we say to the others. And the involvement when he loses the ball is a matter of respect to the other player who worked hard for him to get the ball.
Frank, what was interesting, we had Julian on yesterday talking about Mbappe not representing France for these upcoming internationals. However, he did play, obviously, a big part in that game, in that defeat against Lille. Jules brought up it was a big moment for him up against his brother. I'm just wondering how it's been reported in France with regards to his fitness. Why is he not going on international duty? And if he is fit enough to play in the Champions League, then surely he's fit enough to play as well for France.
Well, I think it's not really a big deal. I mean, he's been booed every time he touched the ball when he came on. I think he has some issues with, or the fans have some issues with him right now. So they don't really care to see him or not with the national team. They're more concerned about the fact that Griezmann said that he retired from the national team, and there are shows everywhere wondering whether he should have stayed or not. But I didn't hear anything from Mbappe. Everybody knows that Mbappe tries to settle down in Madrid, that he just came back from an injury, and I think people are smart enough to understand that whatever he can do, he works for Real Madrid right now, tries to get his fitness back, and he's maybe for the best, maybe for the national team that he's not there because he's not 100%.
Surely with that quality of player, they should be okay.
I think so. Listen, Carlo Ancelotti's been here before. That come October, November, people questioning whether he's the right man for the job, and Florentino Perez making all kinds of odd statements in the press, and then somehow Carlo Ancelotti is able to turn it all around in the second half of the season, and any concerns are long forgotten. And given the quality of player that Real Madrid can consistently call on, you feel that that's going to happen yet again. There are a couple of things at play here for Real Madrid. One, being out of their hands, how good Barcelona has been. I think I speak for everybody in saying Barcelona has exceeded all expectation. And inevitably, that's the measure for Real Madrid. How good they are compared to, well, the rest of the league, but that usually means Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, who've been desperately poor. So now all of a sudden that changes the complexion of Real Madrid's poor start, poor performances to start. And then this Champions League format, we're all still trying to figure this out.
Right.
And while we're only 2 games in and you lose to Lille and you didn't play well, it's a long way to go yet. And things turn quickly. This Lille performance and result is long forgotten again. So I continue to believe, one, in Ancelotti, and two, just in the quality of the player, that eventually they get it right. Now, again, I despite what Ancelotti may say, I do not think they have a replacement for Toni Kroos. Tchouaméni and Camavinga are not that kind of player. Luka Modric just does not have the legs that he once did. Valverde, who's a player I absolutely love, but is almost kind of hamstrung by his versatility. You can rely on Valverde to do anything on the park, and as a result, Ancelotti moves him around more than most. So you don't have that one player who can really pick a pass. Maybe that's addressed in January. We don't know. But as of right now, again, you have problems, but I think the biggest problem is in comparing yourself to who you once were a few months ago.
So Real Madrid, of course, are in action this weekend. Just have a look at the table and you can see how big a game actually it's going to be at the Santiago Bernabeu, with the exception of that heavy defeat against Barcelona. Villarreal have looked good so far this season, so good in fact that they are third in the table, just 1 point adrift of Real Madrid going into the game at the Santiago Bernabeu. Proper game, Adrian, should be a belter.
Yeah, for all the reasons you just highlighted and questions about the direction Real Madrid are heading in, I think this is massive heading into an international break. Against the team in the Yellow Submarine who've been fantastic. Their one bad performance of the season was at home to Barcelona. So if Real Madrid don't do something similar, that's another comparison that they'll fall short in. And let's not forget, Villarreal were the last team to win at the Bernabeu, albeit back in April of 2023. But they haven't lost since. They've only lost one of the last 6 they've played, Real Madrid. They're a team that always like to play against the Merengues, and they've promised they're going to be brave again.